Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Balloon Speakers, episode 25. I'm Dave Hoenigman, coming in from Yokohama, Japan, just outside of Tokyo. And again,
And
we are
I'm
welcoming back our very special guest, coming in
right.
from Cleveland, Ohio, who you may
Cleveland.
remember from the Faster Pussycat episode,
Wee-hoo.
Lisa B. Lisa, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's springtime.
Oh my gosh. I always forget what's the time difference.
I'm 13 hours ahead of you now, so it's 8:30 in the morning, Sunday morning.
Okay.
Yeah. So my family's still
Fantastic.
my family's still sleeping.
Oh,
So
okay.
so when we start blasting Pantera,
Can you imagine? That's amazing. You should wake them up one day with just, those riffs that come in. Hilarious.
yeah, it's like the roles have changed. Like the now the parents or the crazy father is like waking up the children with Pantera instead of the other way around.
Oh man. That's what happens. It's the way of life for
Mm,
sure.
mm. The
Yeah.
beautiful circle.
Yes. Yes. Good stuff.
Uh, so you chose this album today.
I did. Pantera has been a part of my life. Well, let's see. If I saw them at that show at 93, I was 20, was I 21? I think it was 21, 22-ish around that time.
Sure.
So yeah, and they just like took my breath away. They took my heart and took my breath away.
Mm.
And in the short time that they were around, they were fantastic.
And that would have been the height of their glory when you saw them, right? Kind of early
Yeah,
90s.
yes. Yep. Yeah, just one of the I always say they're the best band I've ever seen live.
Wow.
Like to this day.
And
And I've seen quite a few shows.
Yeah, you're someone who's seen a lot of bands, so that's
yes, definitely. Except for that Chicago time. I was thinking back, I was like, it's so poor in Chicago. I didn't know how good I had it in Cleveland.
Oh, you mean like in terms
I went to all the shows in Cleveland for free because I knew a guy. His name was Perry. He owned Perry's Rock Pile, and he like introduced me to everyone, all the club people. So either the front office of the clubs or the owners or the Belkins. Like he knew the Belkins and could call the Belkins up and get on the list and stuff. So wow. I never paid a dime to go see anything really.
Wow.
And then when I moved to Chicago, I'm like, what? How much does it cost for a show? I can't do it. Sorry.
Wow.
Like I just, it was a major clash for me. But yes, but yeah, Pantera, they hold a special place.
What's Perry's Rock Pile? Is it a record store?
Oh my gosh, this is great. This guy loved music. He was probably about 55. And I saw an ad in the Yellow Pages and mapped it out because I think it said on it basically, we have the best rock and roll and metal, merchandise. So I'm like, oh, this is my place. And God bless my mother. She drives me to Parma. And I just developed a friendship with this guy. And then by the time I turned 16 and could drive, so I would pick him up. We'd go to dinner in Parma. I'd be scared because Parma was pretty friggin' white and racist back then, but no one ever bothered us because they all knew him. And then I'd drive him to the show and he'd get me in for free.
Wow.
So I saw all sorts of people.
Wow.
During that time. And Pantera is one of them. So that's how I came to them. He's like, I think he must have been listening to the album or the record or whatever. And he's like, we're gonna go see this band. And I'm like, Perry, oh, here, you got to show the pictures.
Okay.
Because that's how we're gonna get into it.
So you're
But
saying this guy Perry was 55? Is that what
he
you?
was like 55 at the time because his mom was 91.
Wow.
She would watch the store. I would watch the store because he used to do like flea markets, like album flea markets.
Oh,
So yeah, I hung out a lot there.
wow.
But he's a trip. He's a
Wow.
total trip.
Wow. See, the west side of Cleveland is like I'm an east side boy, right? So when you talk about the west side, I have no idea.
Oh yeah.
Perry's.
The nice thing is because I went to private school, not to brag, but you meet people from all over town. And of course, I loved all the people on the west side. So it's still for me, it's nothing to just drive to the west side. Like the east siders still are like it's a foreign land. What is this west side that you speak of?
Yeah, totally.
It's literally 15 minutes away.
Is that guy still around, Perry?
You know what? When I moved to Chicago, I lost touch with him, so I don't know. At some point, I should probably look him up. I know he didn't have the store anymore because they raised the rent and he wasn't doing that, but I don't know. Should probably drive by his house on David Avenue in Parma.
You could send him the link for this. Wait.
Oh my God, he's a trip. Yeah, he was funny. Like that guy had seen like Led Zeppelin, the Stones, the Beatles, like live in Cleveland at these places that don't even exist anymore. Like he really, and then I think he worked for like Pabst, and then when he retired, he opened up this record store. And so he had the record store, which had all sorts of merchandise, like not just records and cassettes, but it had t-shirts in there and all sorts of whatever knickknacks and stuff.
Great name too, Perry's Rock Pile.
Perry's Rock Pile. I think it was on Pleasant Valley or State. Yeah, but he was a good guy. He really was.
What do you think of this album cover?
I'm going to be honest. I did not really even pay attention that it was someone punching a face.
Oh, really?
Until they released, when they re-released it a couple of years ago, and then they talked about it. I don't know what the heck did I think it was, or I just didn't care. It's just like, just open it up and put it on. I need to hear it more. So I'm not sure, but it's hilarious now that I know what it is.
I feel like it looks like one of the brothers too, doesn't it? Doesn't it look like?
It does. It sort of looks like Dimebag.
Yeah, it looks like Dimebag.
Aw, no one would punch Dimebag. No one ever.
Okay, well, let's, all right, so we're talking Vulgar Display of Power, 1992. This is the back cover of the album. Yeah. We have, okay, would you like to introduce the band here, Lisa?
Sure. So we'll go from left is Rex Brown with the backwards hat. He's the bassist. And I believe he was older. You know how Mick Mars is older than everyone in Motley Crue? I believe it was the same with Rex. Like he had a good 8 to 10 years on everyone.
Okay. I have their birth dates here.
Okay.
So, like Vinny. Okay. So Vinny and Rex were a bit old. They were born in 64.
Oh, Vinny's on the end. So Rex is on the end and then Vinny's on the end.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, Rex and Vinny were born in 64.
Okay.
And Phil was born in 68. And Daryl was born in 66.
Okay. All right.
So he's older than these other two, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. So Rex Brown, and then we have the crazy Phil Anselmo, who's from New Orleans, and he's got a New Orleans drawl when he talks. And then the brothers, we have Daryl, and then there's Vinny.
Daryl, right? Widely known as Dimebag Daryl.
Yeah. Apparently his previous moniker was Diamond Daryl.
Yes.
But Dimebag fits him much better.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Hmm. Yeah, cool back cover, right?
Yep.
So the title "Vulgar Display of Power" is taken from the Exorcist movie, and yeah, since I don't have opportunity every day to play an Exorcist clip, I thought I'd do that now, right?
Yeah.
When they say
I'd love to
line.
see it.
Yeah, give me a second. Okay, here's the clip from The Exorcist that has the line, "A vulgar display of power." So please listen carefully to what Regan, the possessed girl, says.
Well, then let's introduce ourselves. I'm Damien Karras.
And I'm the devil. Now kindly undo these straps.
If you're the devil, why not make the straps disappear?
That's much too vulgar a display of power, Karras.
Where's Regan?
In here with us.
Well, then let's introduce...
All right.
Yeah, I don't have any need to ever watch that whole movie. It sounds terrifying.
Wow. Wow. So a lot of people who love metal also love horror movies, but not
They really do. No, I'm still too. No. I can't deal with that stuff. It depends. My type of horror is more like the creature films. Like I'm more of in the sci-fi Sharknado kind of ridiculousness. Yeah. Than a straight-on horror movie. Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, Exorcist is one of the scariest movies ever. Definitely.
Yeah.
So, yep. Even that short scene was kind of scary.
Yeah, I did. I'm like, all right.
Let's look at another picture of the guys. Yeah. So, how do you feel about these guys? Do you have one you especially like, or what are your thoughts on the boys?
Oh, well, I'm like, I'll tell you after I get to the story, because it all has to do with the yeah. I'll add that in later.
We'll come back to that. Okay.
Yeah, we'll revisit that.
Okay. All right. All right, but just to give our viewers an idea, so Pantera, technically started in the mid to late 80s, where they were more kind of a hair metal band, right? But the guys were super young. I mean, Daryl was only 16, right? So they were, yeah, they did a few albums, wearing spandex and stuff like that. But I mean, I think it was just as they were learning how to record, and they were playing out a lot in Texas, it looked like.
Yeah, they were because I believe they're from Dallas. So they were like, Dallas became sort of their home base for a while. So they were there. I think they were in Louisiana. Oh, what else was over there? I can't remember. There was like one more, but maybe Oklahoma, but they stayed in that area.
Okay. So the brothers, right? The Abbott brothers, right? Dimebag Daryl and Vinnie Paul. So Dimebag and Vinnie, yeah, they were from Texas. And I didn't know that till you just said. So Anselmo is from New Orleans.
He's New Orleans. He's Louisiana guy.
Okay. Then how about Rex Brown? Is he?
Oh God, where's Rex from? I should remember this. I read his book and everything. I'm not sure where Rex is from.
But
it has to be Southern somehow. Like, it's not like he would transplant from California to somewhere.
But he was with them from the beginning, right? More or less. So he was
by like the second or third. Because he replaced someone else.
Okay.
Is what I was reading. Yeah.
Okay.
But he had been with them because I think so. Was Vulgar? Vulgar is technically their 6th album. So he must have gotten on like in the 3rd album or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, he's probably from that area, more or less. I would guess, right? But
yeah.
Just because they hadn't traveled much outside of that area at that time.
No.
But really, I think for most people, Cowboys from Hell is considered their first album, right? Because that's really
absolutely
that's
really the one that really blew up. Like that's what started their upward trend and had their new sound as well.
It's kind of interesting they didn't change their name though, if they had such a new sound. But I guess that because the name's so cool,
whatever.
they just stuck with it. But
oh, here it is. I'm sorry, I had to look it up. Rex Brown. He was born in Graham, Texas, so somewhere in Texas.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So really, I mean, for our purposes, there's no reason to look before Cowboys from Hell, right? So we're really gonna focus on their '90s output, but especially Vulgar Display of Power, which was a huge landmark album, right? It was double platinum, I think, right?
Yes.
Sold a shitload. Rolling Stone magazine put it number 10 best metal of all time. So best metal album. So it made the top 10. Yeah, so it's highly regarded, deeply loved.
Yeah.
Yes, Lisa.
I was gonna say it's highly influential because it sort of started the second, they call it like the second wave of thrash. Because by this time Metallica was doing the Black Album, so they already were like into pop music basically, which whatever, I still like it, but it certainly is no Ride the Lightning. And so there sort of was this hole for that, for like a newer thrash metal to come out. And then with Dimebag, I mean, people are still trying to sound like him. It's just like they had their own sound and were definitely something fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Scott Ian from Anthrax said that Pantera saved metal, right, in the 90s.
Yeah. He, oh my God, he and Dimebag were really good friends. Yeah.
So of course it's about the time that Nirvana was blowing up. So all the kind of hair metal stuff was just pushed aside.
My poor genre was knocked away.
But
yeah.
But even considering that was the environment, Pantera was still able to put out a multi-platinum album. So it's quite an achievement, right? All things considered. And they're still very young, even though if we're calling this their 6th album, they're like, okay, well, let's see, it's 92. So Daryl was born in, they're,
Let's see.
How come I can't do math suddenly?
Neither can I. I'm like, I'm supposed to be a math teacher.
Like 20, they're approaching their mid-20s.
Right.
Yeah. So they're still young guys. Well, all right, if you look at Cowboys from Hell, that was their big breakout album. And Daryl would have been 24 and Vinny 26, right?
Yeah.
And it feels like they kind of driven, well, even the third one, far beyond driven, but kind of driven by their taste of success from Cowboys from Hell. They really put a lot of energy into making, Vulgar Display of Power like a statement. Right?
Yes, definitely.
And I think I read that they were, because as you just said, Metallica was getting kind of lighter with the Black Album, right?
Right.
So Pantera felt like, all right, if you guys are going to go in that direction, there needs to be like a new album that's like heavier than anything that ever came before, right?
Right. We need some good head banging, mosh pitting stuff going on here. Yeah.
Okay.
And they were the ones.
On that note, I thought I'd play a clip of them live from the early 90s. So it would have been around the time you saw them playing Fucking Hostile.
Yay.
In Hollywood. So yeah, that's just to give our viewers a taste of
a taste of the goodness.
Yeah, of what we're going to be talking about. So just a moment, please. Yeah.
So now we're gonna watch Phil and the rest of the boys doing Fucking Hostile in 1992, which this was one of their quintessential songs that they played at every show. But this is early on. This is when they're still like the energy is there. So let's look at it.
The next song is called Fucking Hostile. 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost every day I see the same thing. A broken picture.
Wow.
Oh, it like warms my heart. How can I'm like, oh my God, I don't understand why people don't love metal. I'm like, oh my God, it just makes me so happy. I loved it. The guy had a cast on. Like he's still in the pit with a full cast. Oh my gosh. That is great.
I probably just woke up my sons blasting that Sunday morning.
Welcome to the Church of Pantera, sons.
Yeah. It's 9 o'clock. The rest is up, right?
Fine, it's fine.
So it was about that level of intensity when you saw them during a great
it was like mayhem. It was mayhem, except that I loved it. Like it just was, the energy was just palpable every time. Yeah, this was great. They also they put out new albums, but they really would just do the old stuff, and I was fine with that. People, they don't want to play their old stuff. I just want to play a new. No, these guys knew where their meal ticket was, and that's what people came there for, and everyone had a great time. So,
well, how when did they break up? Like, how long were they still touring as Pantera?
I think for that official live, I think by that time they were pretty much almost broken up by then.
Okay, so it was yeah. So it's just, it's intense to look at the Vulgar Display of Power tour, which was 224 dates, right? So basically a year and a half, just
nonstop.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when you tour like that, when any band tours like that, their sets are so tight. Like they sound friggin' great. Like they're practicing. They're always practicing. But they're practicing for that perfection. Like it's like second nature by the time, by the time I see them, they've been playing it already, for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, they did a bunch of European dates. They came to Japan. They played at Club Cheetah, which is just a few stops from here.
I love it. How big is that venue?
I haven't been there, but it's a famous metal place, right? So any metal band that comes through here plays there.
That's so funny.
I've seen footage of Fishbone playing there, but I've never actually been there just because I don't go to metal stuff nowadays. Which
right.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I want to.
I know. I'm like, man, I may need to save up my little bit of money, come to Japan and go to Club Cheetah.
Yeah.
People.
I'm dying to go to any show nowadays after.
Oh, that's true.
A year of being cooped up, but yeah. Okay, so we figured out you figured out this is the first time you saw them, right?
Yes.
So
this is how it goes. So Perry told me about Pantera, and I'm like, okay, I'll go. But I go, Perry, you got to show the picture with the flag.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, you got to get to that.
Okay.
Because I must not have looked. You know what it is? By this time, I'm reading a bunch of metal magazines, and I'm sure this was probably a picture in there. Like I probably had seen them, but I hadn't listened to them by that point. So I'm like, Perry, all I know about them is that they have the Confederate flag. And I said, am I going to be okay at this show? And that guy was always like, what is wrong with you? Like, you're going to be fine. It's fine. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to trust you. So, but the thing is, we had a meet and greet with them also.
Wow.
And the meet and greet was after the show. So I'm like, all right, I'll go. So we go. I mean, they put on this incredible show. I mean, it's like, it's incredible. Like, I got pulled in immediately. I'm like, oh my God, have I ever never lived with them? Like, I like immediately got the, the cassette, but I immediately forgot that they even had the Confederate flag. Like, it was like in one ear, out the other. So we go and meet them. And it was, I think at that time, I only met Dimebag and Vinny. And somehow Perry knew that they loved Kiss. And they were very nice, but we're like, hey, if we go get some Kiss t-shirts, you guys want to buy them? So they're like, sure. So we drove back from the Agora. I drove into his shop. We picked up like 2 or 3 friggin' Kiss t-shirts.
Yeah.
Drove back, went and like knocked on the door of the tour bus and went on their tour bus.
Oh my God.
And sold them Kiss t-shirts. And then I just remember like Rex, his tattoos were out, and I was like, hey, I like your tattoos. And he was like, say tattoo again. He's like, your accent's hilarious.
Really?
Like, they were the nicest people. Like, so very, like, everything that everyone says about that guy Dimebag, that's why I know it's true. Like, they were very gracious, very happy to have us, didn't care anything about me. You know what I mean? Like, there's no weirdness or anything. So from that point on, I always was a fan.
Wow.
Like, definitely, because you meet a lot of people and they're complete assholes, and like to the point where I stopped listening to their music because I'm like, it's not worth it. But for them, it was so worth it. Like, I just loved them from then on.
So you and Perry were on the tour bus with all 4 of them.
Yeah.
All 4 of them.
So here's the thing: Phil already had his own tour bus.
Oh wow. Okay.
So he always was like an outsider.
Huh.
So I don't know if, well, I guess he was probably already drinking by then.
Huh.
Like, and because I'm not sure when the heroin kicked in.
But they were all drinking heavily though.
Oh, they were all
Yeah.
drinking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like Dimebag was Crown Royal was his drink of choice all the time. Yeah, they're all drinking. They're having a good time. But they were all very nice, the guys who I met.
Was there a lot of people on the bus?
No, that's why it was hilarious. It really was just Perry and I. It's not like they were partying. It just was like, we're like, hey,
So
we came back. Hey, we have shirts. Can we come on?
So it's you and Perry and the 2 brothers and
Dimebag,
Rex.
Vinny, and Rex.
Wow, just hanging out,
shooting the shit a little bit.
Wow.
But yeah, I will never forget that moment.
Wow.
Freaking great.
Oh, you don't have pictures of that, unfortunately.
No, we didn't. We weren't taking. There's no picture taken back then.
Yeah.
All in your brain, all there. But that was the other great thing about Perry. So if any guy who I was like, I want to meet that guy, he would get me in front of them. Like, he knew all the security guards. He could just maneuver his way around places.
Wow.
But most of the times it's like, they're short. Whatever. That was a lot of it. I was like, he's not that cute up close. Let's keep moving. But he was great.
Did Daryl have the red goatee at that time?
I'm trying to think. Honestly, I don't remember. He probably did, because that became his signature, was that red goatee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny though. Perry sold them the Kiss shirts. He didn't give them to them. He actually.
Oh no, he sold them. Like they gave him $20. The guy is still cheap as hell. Hilarious.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Because it's not like
so
Kiss
great.
shirts are rare. They could buy those probably anywhere. So that's pretty.
Anywhere. I mean, it didn't matter. But they loved, like, I don't know if you know, this is skipping ahead, but both of them were buried in Kiss caskets.
I did know that.
I mean, that's
insane.
how much these guys, that was their end all and be all.
Yeah.
So I don't know how Perry knows this shit, man. I don't know. How did he know all this stuff? He would always know all these ins and outs about people.
And of course, Dimebag has an Ace Frehley tattoo on his chest, right?
That's great. How funny.
Yeah, isn't that surprising? Like because they're such like a like a thrash, take no nonsense kind of band. I'm kind of surprised that even if they did love Kiss, they're not like more like secretive about it. They're
No.
totally like it's
they're proud of it for sure.
Yeah.
Right? They were interesting guys for sure.
So okay, so then what do you? So the fact that they do use the why do they use the rebel flag then? If it's not because
I think back then, because they would never, they were using it the way that a lot of Southerners, it was pride in their
Regional
heritage,
thing.
I guess. But they, it was a different time. We weren't really, I was thinking it was racist, I definitely was aware of it. But I think for them, they just were like, it was just another proudness, Oh, and they've also said that they used it because they loved Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can't say. I guess in the South, it's just, it just was always widely around. I mean, it still is around, but.
And this is 30 years ago we're talking about. I mean, I don't know how up until how recent they used it, but Phil Anselmo, the singer, he's said some questionable, like, racist.
He has been questionably racist. But then I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, and I just feel like New Orleans is sort of a melting pot. Like, there's no way you can go anywhere and not see someone of a different race. Like, it just is, you're mixed around with all of them. And he has said that he definitely, I don't know. He just is questionable. He says questionable, stupid shit. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Sometimes I get mad. Sometimes like he just dumbass. He just says dumbass shit. And I think he likes to antagonize people.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Well, but just the fact that the three other guys were super cool to you. I mean, that says a lot.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The nicest. Oh yeah. I probably touched Rex's tattoo. I probably tried to flirt with him a little bit. Hey, I like your tattoo. He's like, say tattoo again. You got an accent. Just hilarious.
Sounds like he was flirting with you a bit too.
Maybe.
But yeah, I think I like their look. Like even on the back cover here. I mean, just the cut off sweatpants. I mean, so it made me think like the way like a 13 or 14-year-old boy would think, like when I become an adult, like I'm gonna wear cut off sweatpants every day, and I'm gonna have a a long goatee dyed red.
It's just so funny. Well, yeah, I think they made after the whole spandex, they're just like, we're just gonna go on like how we're just gonna dress how we actually dress, and this is what you get. This is them being themselves. Hilarious to me.
So so what are your memories from the actual show? So this is your first show. So this is what you're talking about when you met them afterwards, right? So it's
yeah.
Or,
and it was in the big room, it was on the main stage, not in the tiny room. And I don't know. I feel like it happened so fast. Like I knew that I love them. And I was like, I am like I like to read the lyrics. So that was my other thing. I'm like, okay. So after I saw them, we sell them t-shirts. I'm like, all right, I'm a fan. And I was very pleasantly surprised to see that a lot of their songs are about like social justice and like, stop being a douchebag to me. Like, don't be a douchebag. How about that? And I'm like, oh, that is stuff that everyone can get behind. So it was good. That also quelled the Confederate flag. I'm like, oh, look at what they're talking about. they want equality. They want everyone to just get along. So yeah, I wish I had better memories of the actual show. But It was sort of a whirlwind.
I mean, I feel that way about so many shows I went,
Yeah, I mean,
it's
like,
such a shame that, our brains don't just record things.
wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But I do still, like, I know what it makes me feel like when I listen to it. Like, I still get goosebumps listening to that album.
Mm. So before you saw that concert, you hadn't heard either of their albums at the point.
No.
Okay.
You know what? I'm sure, because I was a big Headbangers Ball person.
Mhm.
So I'm sure that I had seen a couple of their videos,
Mm.
but it was nothing that I ever went out of my way to like go get the album until I saw them. And I was like, oh, I need this for sure.
So after you became a fan, you bought all
Yeah.
these? Yeah.
Then I went back. Oh, I bought Vulgar Display. I don't know that I even bought Cowboys from Hell. I just was all about Vulgar Display of Power.
Huh.
And then I did love Far Beyond Driven as well.
When people say that Vulgar Display was so influential, right? And you've said that too. So what do you mean exactly?
So the way that Dime, and I don't know, I'm not a technical guitar person, but the way that he plays frenetically and like whatever he's doing is a special way of playing that people can't recreate. Like there only are so many guitarists that play a certain, like Eddie Van Halen plays a certain way that no one, everyone tries to be like it, but they really can't do it. And Dimebag is that kind of guitarist. Like he had a different sound, a different way of playing. I don't know what the technical terms for any of it are, but I do know that that band influenced, bands that came after them. Like they will cite, oh, we grew up on Pantera, like Avenged Sevenfold, which even those guys are old now because they're in their 30s. But when they were starting out, they used to do a cover of Walk because they like that was one of their influences. Like they loved them. Yeah.
So you mentioned Eddie Van Halen, right? So in the Kiss coffin, right? He was buried with
that's right.
One of Eddie Van Halen gave him a guitar, right?
He did. So he was gonna give him a copy of it, but then after he died, he actually sent the real guitar.
Wow. When you talked about meeting them, you said something, but once you saw how nice Dimebag was, you knew that all the stories were true. So what do you mean? What kind of stories?
Oh, because anyone who talks about Dimebag and like knowing him is just like he was the most like he was so lovely and loving and like he was a prankster. Oh my God. I don't know if I'll remember the whole story, but I think that he pranked Scott Ian and said that Sebastian Bach was like in a closet, like, or he called because he's like, Sebastian Bach is going crazy over here. And like Scott Ian's like, oh my God, like we have to call the police, like we have to get them over there. And then it would turn out to be this huge fucking joke. But it's just like people, like all the outpouring once he died, just like, oh, I met him and he just was this really nice guy. Or like he was someone you could count on. He was someone you could party with. Like you never hear the shitty stories. Like you hear about Phil being a shitty person. Yeah. Like you never ever hear any bad words ever being spoken about Dimebag. Yeah. Like I don't know. I guess they weren't your typical. Yeah, like those guys just like to have fun. They just like to be happy and like to have fun. And they loved life.
So the other shows you went, so you said Cleveland and then also Akron and then Wisconsin.
I know I saw them there. I saw I remember seeing them at this place called the Jar Arena, which was part of the University of Akron's campus. I saw them there. I also saw them in Madison, Wisconsin. when I went to go visit my friend Claire at UW.
I
And
remember.
I'm sure I saw them other times in Cleveland. I just can't remember when. But and I think there was one for the Coliseum, and I think they opened for someone.
So that was. Do you think it was the?
I think it could have been Skid Row because I was thinking, did Pantera open for Metallica? And I'm like, no, that was the Cult. But I think that
I was at that. But Lisa, were you at that show? The
I was
Justice for All in the Ridgefield Coliseum. Yeah.
That was the first concert that I wanted to go to and paid for like myself. Like I did chores and asked my mom, hey, can I go to the show? And this girl, she was a year older than me. So she must have been like a junior because I wasn't driving yet. I went with her and her boyfriend. And that also started my metal love.
That was my first concert. It was the day after my 17th birthday.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I still remember how I felt when Metallica took the stage, like just the goosebumps and oh my God, like it was,
what is happening?
Yeah,
what is going on?
Because I loved them so much since I guess I was 14 or so.
Right.
No, younger, right? Because 13, I guess. So for me, it was I was into them like when I was in like the 7th grade because I was listening to the WUJC metal shows, right? The college radio. And I just loved Metallica. So it felt like I had to wait forever before I could finally go to a concert, but it's just like from the time I was 13 until I was 17. And then
it's true because you couldn't go to a lot of shows because a lot of them were 21 and over. Like the club shows were 21 and over. You couldn't go. Like you couldn't go until you were older. So like Coliseum was a great place. Accepted everyone. So yeah, but yeah, so I'm like, oh no, it wasn't that. But Skid Row and Pantera sounds about right, where everyone still hated Pantera. And I'm like, how could you hate them? They're amazing.
Oh, because the Skid Row fans are more pop oriented, right?
Yeah, definitely. Pantera.
What was
clearly Skid Row probably loved Pantera. Well, it's the same. Metallica loved the Cult, but definitely the audience did not love the Cult. That's for sure.
See, I remember loving the Cult too at that show. I just thought
I thought
everything was awesome.
I was all about it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah. But yeah, I remember the crowd not being so pleased.
What were Skid Row's big hit songs? Of course, there's
18 in Life. 18 in Life, you got it. 18 in Life. Oh, and then Skid Row. What is it?
Wasn't there something? Youth Gone Wild.
Youth Gone Wild. That's it. We are the Youth Gone Wild.
I thought they even had like a full blown, really kind of poppy ballad one. Didn't they?
Yeah, that one's Ricky was a young boy. He had a heart of stone.
That's 18 in Life then, right?
Oh, that's 18 in Life. I love it. You're like, I'll give you the snippet. It's a new thing. I'll sing the snippet and you tell me what it is.
But so you can see, that's a pretty poppy hair metal-y song. So Pantera would have been opening for that. So you got to think like a lot of people at that show were
like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because it couldn't have been that much earlier that Skid Row opened for Guns N' Roses there.
I saw Guns N' Roses there, but I don't remember.
I saw them twice.
I think there was the time Guns N' Roses just had no opening act, I think, for a while. Just because.
Who did?
Well, I saw Soundgarden open for Guns N' Roses in Dayton. But I feel like when I saw Guns N' Roses at the Coliseum, I feel like there was no opening act. For maybe Axl didn't want an opening act or something.
Well, he is also. He's another classically like away from the rest of the group, doing his own thing. For sure. But anyway, we're getting off topic. Those are all things we can talk about.
Yeah.
another time.
No, off topic is totally okay.
I love it. But yeah, that totally was my era. Definitely. But Pantera are different. So see, now it all makes sense. Like I've told Brian, Gypsy's husband, I'm like, you know what? I think I hate grunge. And he's like, yeah, it makes sense. They killed off hair metal. I'm like, oh, like it never dawned on me that like I would hold a grudge against grunge because they killed off my people, like my music that I loved so much.
Have you ever seen that movie, The Wrestler, with Mickey Rourke?
No.
There's a scene in that movie where he talks about exactly what you're talking about. Wait, let me show the clip. It's
I
fun.
got it. You gotta find it.
Yeah.
Because it is. I'm like, oh, stupid grunge. You know, of course I like Nirvana, but even them I would think I would make fun of. But yeah, most of them I'm just like, I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm over it. I don't want to don't talk to me about Mudhoney.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to go on record saying that. I like grunge, especially Nirvana. I have happy memories of seeing in Dayton again at the Hera Arena. But
yeah.
Oh, which I thought is funny. The end of this, when you look at this long Vulgar display tour, year and a half. The last show, the very last show of that long tour was 93 in Dayton,
really?
Ohio. So it's funny that they got the last show at Hera Arena. But I noticed that if you look at the whole schedule, they had played Hera Arena in April, and then they're playing it again in July. So that just shows like how much Ohio must have just been all over Pantera.
Ohio definitely was a hotbed for metal. Well, it really was a hotbed for all music back then. Like everyone came through Cleveland.
Yeah. That's how I feel like, like when I moved to Chicago, like, I don't know, like, I guess I didn't feel like I missed out on a lot, just being in Cleveland. Like everyone came through Cleveland, right?
Right.
Or Columbus sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Or even like my years in Dayton, I saw a lot of like bands come through there. So it was like, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you see more selection in big cities, I guess I'd say, but it's not like you miss out.
I don't think so. Not back then. I think that everyone pretty much still came through Ohio. Like Ohio was a big place to go. Not anymore. You got to really search to find some of these bigger shows that come through. Like there's just, I don't know if the whole music business is different. Just don't make as much money as you used to.
Like that movie, Detroit Rock City, that Kiss movie.
Yeah.
And in the movie, the teenagers they're living in Cleveland and they have to go to Detroit to see Kiss, right? That's in the story. And I'm like, wait a minute, Kiss would definitely come to Cleveland. Why?
Well, you got it. If you're gonna name the song Detroit Rock City in the movie, you gotta go to Detroit.
Of course. But I why didn't they make the boys from Iowa or something,
Right.
But here, give me a second. Okay. Because Lisa brought this up, I thought we could share this movie or this clip from Darren Aronofsky's The Wrestler. Okay, this is Mickey Rourke's character, the ex-wrestler, and Marissa Tomei talking about why they hate the 90s.
Whoa, hell yeah. All right. Come on, baby. Dance with me.
Here?
Yeah, right here. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, I've danced to this plenty.
Okay, I'll dance for you then. Okay, here we go.
You can get your shift.
Hey, man, I need it up. There we go.
Oh, it's a lap dance I'm getting.
Right from the beginning that you
would end up winning.
I knew right from the start. You put an arrow through my heart.
Round and round.
Yeah. God damn, they don't make them like they used to.
Fucking 80s, man. Best shit ever.
Bet your ass, man. Guns N' Roses fucking rule.
Crew.
Yeah.
Def Leppard.
Then that Cobain pussy had to come around and ruin it all, you know?
Like there's something wrong with wanting to have a good
I'll
time.
tell you something, I hated the fucking 90s.
90s fucking sucked.
90s fucking sucked.
Mickey Rourke making his move.
that makes me want to watch that whole movie now. I'm gonna give it another shot.
With
I am sold.
Chinese subtitles, no less. Yeah, so it's almost exactly what you were saying.
So true. Oh my god, they killed our party. We're like,
Yeah.
what? You don't want to just party? Why not?
Yeah, but I mean, do you think hair metal could have gone on forever?
No. Unless they're still Panther, they're still doing it. But
Panther. So they're like a novelty kind of joke band, right? Or are they serious?
the thing is, they're friggin' phenomenal.
Hmm.
They're like amazing. I've seen them twice now. Like I saw them I saw them right before the pandemic started. So that would have been what, 2019, 2018. And one of the guys is from Maple Heights.
Oh, really?
And yeah, so the songs are ridiculous because they were about like screwing chicks and like getting gonorrhea and whatever, partying all the time. Except that their tunes are totally like kick ass and they're catchy and they freaking rock. They are great musicians.
So we should.
Yeah, but the whole thing wouldn't have, no, it wasn't sustainable. It's just sad that it had to go out that way. Well, it wasn't sustainable because also AIDS took over. Like by that time, everyone knows that everyone can get AIDS. It's no longer just a gay person's disease. So you can't just go out and party and do it and all the stuff that celebrates hair metal. Like it also was, yeah, it had its time. It would have crashed for sure. But I still love it.
But in a way you benefited from it because then you can go see Faster Pussycat at like small little clubs, right? For
oh, that's so true. I'm going to see them July 7th in
really?
Pennsylvania. Yes, at this place called Jurgles.
Jurgles?
Yes, and then Enough's Enough is opening.
Oh my God. Wow.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so like shows are just back on in America, huh?
Well, we'll see. I don't know. It's like we bought tickets, but it isn't on their website that they're actually doing it. So we shall see.
So how did you find out about that?
My friend called me and told me.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
He's
Wow.
like, they're playing at Jurgles. He's like, they're selling tickets. I'm like, well, what are we waiting for? Let's do this.
So what city in Pennsylvania is that?
Warren,
Pennsylvania.
yeah,
Jurgles.
Warren, Pennsylvania. It's called Jurgles. We'll see. See, that kind of stuff makes me nervous. I'm like, how do they take Black people in Pennsylvania at Jurgles? I know I'm gonna get in Cleveland. No one gives a shit. Like,
Yeah.
no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
have you had any negative experiences at metal shows?
No, like here's the great thing, and this is why I love metal. I've never had one friggin' problem. I've only had people be gracious and nice, and like as long as you love metal and you're not a poser, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't give a shit. But yeah, no. Although, so at Queensryche though, and this was, oh God, this is probably 10 years ago now. I was at House of Blues. I mean, I was a full adult. I was probably already 40. And this guy, it was like an older guy and a younger guy. I don't know why they were there together. And they're like right in front of me. And the old guy is telling the three guys the 3 rules to like keep chicks. And he's like drunk and gross. So it's like rule number 1, don't ever go to bed mad or some shit. Rule number 2, I don't remember what rule number 2 was. Rule number 3, now keep in mind, they're right in front of me. They can see me. He goes, I hope I won't offend anyone, but he goes, ask her if she's been with a nigger, because you can't follow that. You can't live up to that. I actually busted up and I started texting Gypsy because I was texting to Gypsy the 3 things. And then when he got to that, I just cracked up because I was like, that guy's an idiot. What an idiot. But then I'm like, the way he's using it, I'm like, props. You're right. You're right with your small white dick. You can't follow a black guy.
Wow. Did you say
no, what am I going to say? I was alone, What am I going to say? This drunk douchebag.
So you think he saw that you were there and he was trying to insult?
No, I don't think he was trying to get anything out of me. I think he just was a drunk and stupid.
Okay.
Those were his 3 rules, man. He wanted to make sure everyone heard him.
Wow.
But yeah. Gypsy's like, get away from him. I'm like, I could push this guy over with one arm. Like, he's an idiot.
How was Queensryche?
I love it. I love some Jeff Tate. And I don't know, have we talked about Operation Mindcrime? We might have to do a podcast on it.
Yeah, we could do that. I was a big fan of that back in the day.
To me, it still is one of the quintessential, what do they call those?
Concept albums.
Start to finish, friggin' great.
Yeah, I could talk Mindcrime.
No, I was excited because they had a big split where they fought about the name, but if you're gonna see a band, you gotta have the lead singer.
Yeah.
You're not gonna go see the rest of the band and some other guys sing Operation Mindcrime. I want to hear Jeff Tate sing it.
Wait, so that was the Queensryche original members?
No. It was just Jeff Tate.
But then they were called Queensryche, or no? They were just
because he got the rights to the name of the band.
Oh.
Or it's like called Jeff Tate's Queensryche. It's really stupid. A lot of bands did that. Those those hair bands. They fight about the name. LA Guns did it for a while too, but now they're all back together.
Yeah, I think it's probably because they had a hard time making money for a decade or two there.
Well, yeah. So they're a trip, but anyway, so that was the only time, and that wasn't directed toward me. It was just someone using that word. Otherwise, I've never had a problem. Never ever.
We had no trouble at that Metallica Lollapalooza show.
Would we have even known if we were having a problem? We were just having a good time. We did not care about anything.
Other than Lars's shorts.
You hated Lars's shorts. And what was the orgasm? I always forget his shirt. What's it say?
Orgasm donor.
That's it.
Yeah.
That guy, every time we saw him, we just busted up. It seemed like we saw him every 10 minutes. Like, we must have just been sitting in the same place every time we went to go get a beer. We just were like, there he is! Woo! My man.
That was an awesome day. Just a full day of just laughing our asses off.
Just pure laughter. Yeah. But but Pantera make me that happy also. Like they did. Every time I saw him, I was never disappointed. Never like, oh man, what's this? Like, just every time they just gave it their all.
So you so you mentioned how you like the lyrics on Vulgar Display of Power. Can we look into some of the songs you like?
Yeah.
All right, just a moment. Okay. All right. We're going to look at some of Lisa's favorite lyrics from the album. You mentioned the track Walk.
Yes.
Okay. So just where would you like to dive in here?
I mean, we can just start at the beginning. So this is a song about basically haters who are always they think they're talking about you and whatever, but you just don't give a shit because you know you're better than they are.
Mm.
And I definitely, like, when I hear this song, there are like two people in mind who I'm like, this is them. It's why I don't talk to them. I don't mess around with them. And it's just, this is a freaking great song.
Yeah, see, there you go. Beat yourself by yourself. Stay away from me. A lesson learned in life, known from the dawn of time.
They're sort of trying to like take over. Like they want to be as popular as you, so they want to like they try to get near you and sort of take over. It's almost like single white female in your personality. But you're like, come on, get it together. Get it together. Be yourself. Like, be yourself by yourself. Don't bring it over here. Like, I don't want it.
So I heard this song was kind of about when, right? So Cowboys from Hell was a hit, right?
Yeah.
And then like they went on the tour and yeah, like they're kind of becoming a big deal, right?
Right.
And then when they go back home and just hanging out with their old friends, they're getting this kind of attitude from people that like, or, well, I'm guessing, does Anselmo write all the lyrics?
Yes.
Okay. So maybe it was him, right? Like after the success of Cowboys from Hell and he goes back to New Orleans, whatever, and he's getting all this attitude from people like, oh, you think you're a big rock star?
You think you're awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's his like answer to that, like kind of,
Right.
you know, fuck you. I'm not gonna
Like I'm not
gonna purposely try to be unsuccessful just for your benefit.
Right. As people say, haters gonna hate, or you're like, you're not popular until you have some haters.
Mm-hmm.
You know you haven't made it. But yeah.
So do you think he's saying respect, walk, like either respect me or walk? Is that how you take that?
Let's see. How do I say? Respect, walk. Yeah. Although these people don't have respect.
Yeah.
So he's like, walk, get out of here. Oh yeah, either respect me or get the hell out of here.
Huh.
Or the other thing is people do that chitter chatter behind your back, but when you confront them, they have nothing to say.
So
like all of a sudden they didn't say it. So I think that's also part of it as well. Because the second verse, you can tell.
Run your mouth when I'm not around. It's easy to achieve. You cry to weak friends that sympathize. Can you hear the violins playing your song? Those same friends tell me your every word.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah, that is so funny. I might have blacked out and totally yelled at these people I'm talking about and said the filthiest things that no one will repeat to what I said, but I still stand by it because they were running their friggin' mouths to people who I knew. So this song, I'm like, oh yeah, this is how, and the intensity of it, the like total fuck you-ness of it, like the way he sings it, just like the words are spilling out of his mouth, you know, like they're just seething. I'm like, I'm right there with you, buddy. I get it.
And it is like one of the, like a fist pumping chant.
It is. It's like, it's a chanting song that the whole crowd can get behind for sure. Yeah. That's also, Pantera had great anthems. Like this is an anthem. For sure.
Well, what we played earlier, fucking hostile.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think?
So this one, oh my God, like with all the like sort of social unrest and racial unrest going on and the whole thing about like cop reform, like this song deals with that. Like it actually, I'm like, God damn, we haven't gotten any further than we did in 92.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you actually read the words, because it's hard to hear what he's saying. He's just like screaming and growling it. But like when you're reading along while they're playing, you're like, wow, this is It is. It's still stuff that's going on. So he talks about like people using religion to control other people or telling you that what you're doing is wrong. And then he has another verse that's about police and how they abuse their power against you. That's what this one is. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. It's like, oh, here we go. Arresting for a joint. Like they'll stop you and arrest you for a joint and put you in jail for years.
Yeah.
Why? Like, why is that a thing?
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah, just all yeah. So I think that's great, and it still holds true to this day.
I'd bust the punks that rape, steal, and murder. Yeah, so here
yeah.
it looks like he's saying too that his mother got jumped at some point, and the cops didn't help. Or I mean,
they're not helping who they should be helping.
Yes, yeah,
which is what's still going on.
Yeah,
like arrest real criminals. Don't arrest people just doing petty things. Arrest real criminals. Like, where are you when real shit is happening?
Yeah. Instead of like bullying like poor
Instead of bullying people,
kids with a joint, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'd bust the punks that rape, steal, and murder, and leave you be. If you crossed me, I'd shake your hand like a man, not a god.
It still all has to do with like the
me.
God, like just having a God complex. I know it's great. I'm like, yes. Well, once again, when I hear this song, I'm like, chills, total chills. How do you come up with that stuff? Like, I love it. Anyone who can write lyrics and just like, I am in awe of them. And I just feel like, God, he really wasn't that old. He's in his 20s when he's writing this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, here, we can read about what it's saying over here.
Yeah, this song is Phil Anselmo pointing out many hypocritical institutions and values within society. Through the song, he attempts to point out these things and show the listener that they should be outraged and in arms against this hypocrisy. The constant guiding of people through their lives and controlling of how they should go about everyday life angers Anselmo, and he believes it hinders the growth of the individual.
Huh. I'm like, listen, it's pretty good summation of the song.
You're making us fucking hostile. Yeah, so that was the clip we watched earlier.
It was, yeah.
So you could see when you see live footage of him, it's not surprising that he had back issues later, right? Like,
oh yeah, that guy used to jump from like, they'd have the wall of amps, and he would like be jumping into the crowd and crowd surfing, and he was nuts.
So I wonder if the back pain led to heroin. Like, I mean, him trying to dull the pain. Is there a relationship there?
That's what he's said. That's why he did it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I guess pills, or I guess like stuff like Oxy wasn't around back then.
Yeah.
I mean, Kurt Cobain said the same thing. He was trying to quell. He always had stomach issues. And that's where the heroin was, to like dull the pain of all that. From what I've read.
Because like I think we were saying off camera, you're like, usually for kind of thrash metal guys. Well, first off, how do you categorize Pantera? Do you call them thrash or what?
They're not like the big four. They're not that kind of thrash. They're just like, they're a newer kind of thrash. They also call them a groove band, which
groove metal,
groove metal, which I'm like, I don't know, but I possibly, but I just think they are hard rocking. Like, if you're not going to see them to bang your head, get the hell out of here. Like, if you're not going to mosh and like move your body to this, then you're not welcome. This is not for you.
See, when people say groove metal, it makes me think, because I mean, you could see there's Southern rock underpinnings, right?
Mhm.
And
Oh, definitely.
I think ZZ Top, like that, like 70s ZZ Top, right?
Absolutely. They're like Southern fried rock.
Yeah, like that kind of groove, right?
Right.
I can feel it certain times.
And they love Leonard Skinner too, who is like, they're also like, they're like both of those bands are quintessential 70s Southern rock. Like it's a little bit bluesy, it's a little bit R&B almost, but then it's also rock and roll. It's just like everything. They were like got a little bit of everyone's stuff and a little bit of country in there also.
The brother's dad was a country music producer, isn't that right? Or
he was, and I think he tried to manage them, but then things got shaky. I think he was sort of shady a little bit. But he definitely supported his kids doing it, like he supported them going out and making a name for themselves.
So considering that this album was multi-platinum, was that ever played on the radio? Like, can you hear it on MMS or anything, or no?
No.
Okay.
No, it was still.
Okay.
I never really got into the college rock. I'm gonna assume they played it on college, like on a college metal
college
show.
radio almost doesn't count. I mean, in terms
right.
of
I mean,
this kind of conversation.
It's for all the weirdos who want to find other kinds of music that's not top 40.
Yeah.
But no, I don't remember them playing it really.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Because Metallica, they did finally start playing on classic rock radio and stuff like that.
They did. I don't know if MMS still has the like at 8 o'clock every Saturday. It was like the Sanitarium, and they played Metallica for an hour.
Oh, really? Wow.
For like 20 years straight.
Okay.
That's what they did.
But
I don't know if they still do that.
Wow. That certainly wasn't happening when I was a kid.
No, they were still playing. Well, would it have been considered classic rock? What was MMS playing? They were playing rock.
Yeah, rock and a bit of classic rock growing up. Was it them that had one station had Get the Lead Out, where they played like a half hour of Led Zeppelin every night? And for me, it's kind of why I still kind of resent Led Zeppelin. I just heard too much Led Zeppelin growing up, I could take them in small doses, but
right. And I know why people love them, but I don't. Yeah. I feel that way about most classic rock. I'm like, I understand why people love it. I get it, but it's nothing that I really go out of my way to listen to. Yeah.
Oh, but wait. So what I was going to say, just by bringing up genre. So that usually heroin is not the kind of thrash metal-y person's drug of choice, right? So I mean, it's usually
they're usually just big drunks. They drink a lot
and pot, but
if
that's even a drug.
But I'm not even sure, but
you
don't. It's usually drinking that drives them. Like that's what their main problem is.
Yeah. But
Phil, I don't know. He just was hardcore into the heroin. But like I said, he had already started distancing himself. Even in 93, he had his own bus.
Wow. Huh. I guess that's what the fallout from those long monster tours, I guess.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right. So let's. One thing I wanted to mention was your Pantera air freshener. So what's?
So I used to say it's like I've had it in my car since I got it, but clearly I didn't because I didn't even know who Pantera was. So I must have gotten it after. But this was also this guy Perry's place. They had all different kinds of air fresheners from bands, but this Pantera has been with me Well, then I probably, and let's see, I was 20 something, 22. I'm going to be 48 in a couple of weeks. So I've had it over 20 years in all of my cars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just moving from one to the other.
Beautiful. What does it smell like nowadays?
Well, now it doesn't smell like anything, but I believe it was cinnamon when it started.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It seems like it should be like a pot smoke scented air freshener or something.
It should have been. I don't know if that was a thing back then. I'm pretty sure the air fresheners were still just cinnamon or like fur.
Or just like sweat. It should smell like a sweaty Texas boy.
Yeah, that would be great if they're like, oh, we sweat on this air freshener for you. Squeezed out our shirts on it. Here you go. See, I probably would have bought into that. Yay! Woohoo!
Like there was a Kiss comic book at one point where part of the selling point is that it was printed with Kiss's blood, right? And like each member of Kiss had to like cut their finger and like drip a bit of
That's
blood
amazing.
in the ink so that
I love it.
for the fan.
But yeah, this is like, oh, well, also, so I always have stuff in my car so I can find it at the end of the night. But the Pantera was also always like, if people ever see it, they're like, oh, Lisa has that. And like people have definitely like honked their horns and been like, woo, Pantera. Like I'm like, yes, dudes, this is who I am.
Okay, so it's not like you have it in the glove compartment. You actually have this hanging.
It's been hanging in my car. Every car I've had.
Okay, since the 90s.
Since the 90s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. So 30 years, not 20 years, 30 years.
Oh yeah, that's 30 years.
If we're talking about your early Pantera days.
That's friggin' amazing. It's the original string even.
Wow.
It's got a lot of different knots in it, but that's it.
And it doesn't look like badly misshapen. So you took this picture recently?
This was probably a couple of years ago, but it's still in there.
So
Same
a testament to the high quality merchandise from
Not like today's stuff. Back in my day, they made air fresheners to last.
Wow. Oh,
it actually isn't too beaten up. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, it does. It looks good. Okay. Any other songs you'd want to comment on as we're...
So I will say that side A, side B are like, I definitely like it more than I like the back end, but the back end is still great. Still overall a really fantastic album. I just think that their hits and the songs that I connect with happen more in the beginning, which I think that's for a lot of albums are like that. This sort of, when they're putting it together, they stack their hits in the beginning. So, but basically, I love all of it though.
I mean, the fact that it's been called the 10th best metal album ever. I mean,
that's no small feat.
Yeah.
And all of metal.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good moniker to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still listen to it nowadays?
I do.
Yeah.
Yep. I definitely do. I finally did get it on CD when they did that reprint, but the other times I had my cassette.
Like the reprint. It's funny. Wait, the reprint.
Well, they did a deluxe one where they had they remastered this album, and then they added the song Piss, which was a demo, which actually turned into third, I forgot the name of the band of the song, but it turned to a song that's on Far Beyond Driven.
Okay.
But they were demoing it during this time, I guess, but it just didn't make this album.
So what's the song Piss about?
Oh my God, I'd have to listen to it. I haven't listened to that one in a long time.
I thought you might. Well, yeah, I knew it was the bonus track that was on later releases, and I was just wondering if there was the lyrical content of a song called Piss. But yeah, we can. So viewers, yeah, if you're interested, please research the song Piss.
Yeah, I'm gonna find out what it turned into.
Yeah.
I can tell you, because as soon as you hear it, you're like, oh, that's this there. It's this song that's on there.
Okay, so basically, it's an early version of something that would be on the next album.
Yes. What is it? Which one is it though? Oh my God. Oh, it's Use My Third Arm.
Okay.
Is what it became.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, it is sort of funny to go back and listen to it, and you're like, this is awful. You're like, oh, this sounds like something. You're like, oh, it is something. It's just that they were sort of screwing around with it.
Did you ever hear that story about? So Dimebag was 16 when they were already recording and putting stuff out, but that when he was in his early teens, he would join some kind of guitar contest. Right? But he was so good, he so clearly blew everyone else away that by the time he was 15, they just made him a judge. They're like, they're like, oh, we just
you reached your pinnacle. We can't no more, dude.
Yeah. I kind of like that just from an educator parenting point of view. I kind of like that too. Like instead of making him feel bad about, oh, you're ruining it for everybody. I mean, just make him the judge, right? Then
make him the judge.
Yeah.
Listen, the kid clearly has a good ear. So
yeah.
There you go. Oh my gosh. That's funny.
Yeah. So very talented right from the beginning.
Yes, definitely. Definitely like a little bit of a prodigy. He did things his own way. He did, like I said, he had his own way of playing.
So, of course, it was very tragic and sad, right? His death in 2004.
Yes, in Columbus,
Ohio.
Yeah, just oh God, it's just so tragic. You want me to talk about what happened for it?
Yeah, I guess for people who don't know, yeah.
So after Pantera split, and there was really bad blood between. Well, Phil said some really shitty stuff about Dimebag, and of course, Vinnie Paul. He's not gonna. Those two were like peas in a pod. So they went on to form their own band, Damage Plan, and they went to go play at this place called the El Rosa in Columbus, which is just a small. I think it's even a restaurant that has a stage in like the back of it. Like, it's a really small place. And they go to do their first song, and this guy comes up and just shoots Daryl like point blank. I think he killed 2 other people and then wounded a couple of other ones. And I mean, I can't, having lost a brother sort of unexpectedly, I can't imagine seeing your brother gunned down in front of you. Like, that's, I don't even know how you recover from that to begin with. Like, it's just so friggin' tragic. But the other thing that happened is that after that, people were not allowed on stage. Like, there's, even at the small shows, you don't, no one's moshing anymore. No one stage dives.
Oh.
Like, it's very rare that you see it because everyone got scared. Like, this shook the whole way that you put on a concert and like the security that was there. Because I don't think that had ever happened. Like, no one ever got shot point blank on stage like that. So it wasn't just that metal changed. All the way that music is presented was changed after that. So like every once in a while I'll go to a show, and like I went to go see Suicidal Tendencies. I got free tickets, and my friend Brian and I went. Whatever, we had free tickets, but like 2 songs in, I'm looking and I'm like, oh, I go, holy shit, that's Dave Lombardo on drums. And he was like, what? So that's when Dave Lombardo He was the drummer for Slayer, and he just parted ways. I don't know what happened. Some bad blood or whatever. But here he is on this crappy little tour with friggin' suicidal tendencies, and it was so friggin' delightful. But at that show, they had people come up on stage, and I think they ended, and then I just like warmed my heart, because that's how shows used to be. It just used to be like a family, and like there'd be like 40 people on stage, just kids having fun and like jamming up there with their idols. And it's like you don't see that. It just doesn't happen in any genre, really. But every once in a while, like I said, you'll see some of these old school guys like suicidal tendencies with Mike Muir. He's like, come on up. Like, we're going to do this old style. So that's cool. Steel Panther does it too, but they do it with the chicks. Have a bunch of girls come up. But it's still, I'm always like, oh, well, maybe things are going to get better, but who knows? But I do every December 8th, I do have a moment of silence for Dimebag, and if I'm drinking a beer, I'll pour a little bit out for him, because like it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking.
I mean, to my way of thinking, it's another example of why we need stricter gun laws. I mean, anyone who would do this is clearly crazy, but the guy was able to get a gun and pull this off fairly easily.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was really no, there's think that he was maybe schizophrenic. There was talk that he had told friends that he wrote lyrics and they stole them from him. Yeah. So it just, all of it's bad. It's like, if we had a better handle on like how we view mental illness, and that we could help a lot of people who are mentally ill much better, you know, just hopefully at some point we'll be able to just be more open about it and stop these type of things from happening. But yeah, but it broke my heart. He was one, like, this was a death that broke my heart, still does.
Do you remember when you heard the news?
I don't remember where I was, but I remember it happening and just being like, and that it was in Columbus, like,
yeah.
Just it felt so close to home.
Yeah.
But
the shooter was wearing a Columbus Blue Jackets hockey jersey when he did it.
Oh, what was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I remember that, but that always struck me as strange. A weird coincidence is that it's the same date that John Lennon was shot, right? December 8th. So December 8th, 1980 was John Lennon. December 8th, 2004 was Dimebag Darrell. So it's really rarely happened that an entertainer has just been assassinated by a fan.
Yes.
I mean, it just...
Right. But yeah, it's just different. You can't, you don't even get close to a stage anymore. Like there's always, like, you know, you just used to be pushed up there, but there's usually a barricade now. Like, it's just, like I said, it's just different. It's different seeing shows now.
So then Vinny passed away a couple years ago, right? What did he have? Do you know?
His heart. It was like he had something going on with his heart. So yeah, he basically had a heart attack and died as well. So those poor guys.
Yeah. So
too much. But you know what? In true fashion, both of them were buried in Kiss caskets.
Yeah.
Because they loved Kiss.
Yeah. But yeah, that is fascinating. Yeah. Okay. Well, to lighten the mood a little bit, I thought I'd mention this this comedy series you can watch on YouTube. Dave Hill, Cleveland comedian. So this series was recommended to me by Walt Wyman, my coworker, my new friend. He introduced the show to me. It's funny. So Dave Hill goes out. I don't know, it's in the countryside somewhere. I don't know if it's supposed to be Louisiana or something, but he
he still lives in New Orleans.
okay. So
That's
he
his
goes
home base.
he goes like out into the wilderness to find, the to find Phil Anselmo's house. And
Wow.
he begs him to like take him on as a metal student. So like Phil is teaching. So it's like a Mr. Miyagi, Daniel-san
Yeah.
situation. And Phil is teaching Dave the ways of metal. And it's it's funny. It's definitely worth checking out.
I'm definitely going to check that out. It's just that it's probably a different way to see Phil.
Yeah, like he as you
A little
said,
more, a little lighter.
yeah,
The lighter side of Phil.
he's a complex guy,
Yeah.
borderline, douchebag at times, I suppose. But yeah,
He did. I mean, not to like, it's not an excuse, but he had a hard upbringing as well. I think a lot of stuff happened to him that I don't know that he'll ever address properly.
I thought I had a date on this. I think it's 2014, but I could be wrong. But anyways,
Okay.
it's available on YouTube.
Yep.
Worth checking out. All right. Well, I think that brings us to the end of our
All
discussion.
right.
Is there anything else you'd like to mention in closing?
No, I just I love them. I wish they were all around because I think that eventually they would have solved their differences and at least given us like the Motley Crue, one last shot. But like I said, I will always hold a special place in my heart for Pantera. I think they're phenomenal. I just love them. And this album in particular, it is one of my favorites.
A special place in your heart and in your car, right?
And in my car, yes. Pretty much every day, they are with me.
Okay. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that has been episode 25 of Blown Speakers. Thank you for watching. And Lisa B, thanks for joining us again.
Thanks for having me.
We'll have you back. Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're going to go out listening to probably the Pantera's quintessential hit called Walk. And I hope you enjoy it and go out and discover them some more.
Respect. Walk.
Respect.
Run your mouth when I'm not around.